Good morning, everybody. Helen Chin-Lu here from the Healing Place Energy School. How are you doing? This is something that I am doing that's very different. I am talking to my YouTube family, and now I am here with my Instagram family doing a simulcast broadcast. And today I want to talk about um, the new norm. And before I get going, I'm going to drop in questions. Please feel free to ask me questions. I want to say hello to people who are here. There's Christina Reiki. I think it's Evan Houston, Swing 39. I have people from my YouTube channel that I have a huge family on my YouTube channel. There's 20,000 plus. But let me give you a quick introduction who I am. So for those people who don't know who I am, I'm Helen Chin-Lu. I am a certified reflexologist, certified energy medicine practitioner, a Reiki master teacher. I'm the owner of the Healing Place and the Healing Place in Medfield, Massachusetts, where I do hands-on healing with reflexology, chakra balancing, Reiki, meditation. I do wellness coaching. I'm kind of like what I call a sushi roll of healing modalities. But basically, how I help people is just being present for them. I am so thrilled to be here, to be talking to you about this change that's coming on. Oh, and feel free, let me know that you can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or check in, especially on my YouTube channel. I'll do a wave, 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 wave. One of the things that I am as a healer, I've been a professional healer since 2006, probably given about 13,000 healing sessions. Along the way, I've collected a lot of information that I've written a couple books, which is called Know Your Chakras and Foot Reflexology to Promote Relaxation. So I'm very comfortable in talking to people about energy flow. And I have a lot of knowledge that I've accumulated over 14, 15 years. And I really want to share it with people and empower people to go within. Because so many of us, I would say, we give away our healing powers to others. And I think that really sucks. Instead of going outwardly, why not go inwardly before we do anything? Because we have the powers within us. It's just a matter of what you do with this knowledge. And one of the things, think about it, our fears. Now with the new norm, it really tests our fears. And where are we in this minute? Because all right, I'm going to ask some questions. You could give me a thumbs up. I don't know how exactly this works, but give me a thumbs up if you're feeling really fearful right now. Are you worried about your finances? Are you worried about, like, for example, I could be worried about the doors to the healing place may not open at this time, because even though in our state of Massachusetts, I'm able to open up my business in next week. Instead of going into my fears, I've decided to take this as an opportunity to learn something new and really test who I am. And one thing about this journey, all of us are constantly being tested to see if we have the skills, or do we think we have the skills to move along, but we're really being tested to see, have we built up our spiritual and energetic foundation? So this is really going to test each and every one of us. And okay, give me an idea where you're coming from. There's Juanito, greetings. Oh dear, how do you pronounce it? Abudhabi. I'm going to assume that's I'm sorry if I'm really screwing this up in terms of figuring out my geography. I'm trying, even though I've been around the block a couple of times, but I forget where all the corners of the blocks are sometimes. So anyways, coming back to fears, think about how your fear's been programmed inside of you. You're going, fears being programmed? Okay. Think about how growing up, how did your parents, your teachers, your church people, how did they teach you to control your fears, or I will say implant your fears? So many of parents, especially today's parents, I don't know if I should include me in that group. So many of us don't allow our children to make mistakes. So they become what I call helicopter parents. And what happens when you're a helicopter parent, in some ways, you're not allowed to make mistakes. You're supposed to be invincible and you could do anything and everything. And they made this whole generation very special. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my personal family. I have two sons. My husband is probably the emotional caregiver in our family. I'm the kick-ass. Okay, I'm the military person. All right, we have these problems. Let's do something about it and move along, because I'm not one to dwell on the negativity, and I don't like to grow the fears. This is really key. By understanding your fears, you learn where they come from, but you don't have to make your fears your life. Here's something that I really want you to think about, everybody. When you start to have a negative thought, a fearful thought, like, how am I going to make ends meet? Will I be able to go back to work? Will I get sick? Who's going to take care of my kids? Ask yourself, is this really true? Because fears is something that you have programmed within you. And if you have only one program to control your fears, then that's your default. You're going to go back to that fear each and every time. Oh, I love it. Back to Italy. So you got to control your fears. And how do you do this? This is something that I even mentioned to my clients when they start to get fearful. You have choices. You always have choices. It's just a matter of what do you do with those choices? Because the first thing, I remember a story when, I'm going to give this a personal example. My mother-in-law, she's a kind-hearted person. She took care of my father-in-law, who had a stroke about 21 years ago. And she was at the crossroad in her life thinking, I can't take care of him anymore after 16 years of 24/7 care. She's burnt out. She's exhausted. And I said to her, Grandma, in Chinese, we call her Ning Ning, Ning Ning, you have a choice. And she says, no, I don't. I don't have a choice. I bought into this. See, her program told her this is what her vows are to death do you part. You could do the death do you part, but there's variations of it. She physically couldn't take care of him. And eventually, 2 years after that conversation, she made a decision to put my father-in-law in a nursing home that takes really good care of him. And she finally feels like she was let out of prison. Do you know that feeling? Once you break out of a thought cycle of you can't do something, all of a sudden you're running. You have freedom that you didn't think you were allowed to have in your lifetime. And think about who puts you in that prison. More times than not, it's you. So one of the key things you could do with this work is really cut yourself some slack. The new norm, how flexible are you? This is really key. This is really a time, if you really think about it, you could reinvent yourself. What does that mean? Do something different. Do something that will feed your soul, feed your heart, and perhaps it's a time to do something in your life you've always wanted to do. And you're saying, how am I going to do that, Helen? How am I going to find the money? How am I going to see? Already you're going into the doubts and fears that this isn't going to happen. You're growing your fears. Let me give you a quick story. Let me take a sip of water. I'm going to do another personal story. How I started on this journey was my spiritual journey. In fact, that's a course that I'm developing right now. It's called First Step to Your Spiritual Journey. What my journey, I started, I would say 20 years ago, where I was at a crossroad. I hate crossroads. I'm going to be honest with you. I really hate crossroads. And why? Because crossroads forces you in some ways to make a choice. Do you want to go to the right? Do you want to go to the left? Do you want to go down the road? Because Whichever direction you go, the end results are going to be the same. It's just a matter of, do you want to take the easy road? Do you want to take the difficult road? Or do you want to stay in a neutral road where you're just stuck in limbo probably for the rest of your life? Ooh, did I say that, for the rest of your life? And choose, because the end results are going to be the same depending on how fast you get there. And so the spiritual journey started 20 years ago, and my son was really sick. And we gave our healing powers away to doctors. Yeah, to doctors. And here's, no 10-year-old child should be on heavy medication. Really, no medication the way he should have been. But because I did not know enough at the time, we didn't have a computer at home 35 years ago, and was so used to being told, you got to give your healing powers to somebody else. So we buy into that. And so every decision that we make, we have this thing that echoes in the back of your head why we should not do it. You know, the one that you could hear your mother or your father telling you, whoever installed that original program to begin with, they're whispering in your ears and telling you, you can't do that work. You can't, you don't have a choice. And like with my mother-in-law, she really had the choice. It's a matter of, do you have the courage to implement it? And why do we get afraid of implementing something that's new? Because number one, we don't know the outcome. We desperately want to know the outcome. So from the knowledge that I had 20 years ago with my son being sick, I went on my own to learn a lot about how I could help him with his illness. I researched. I was really proactive. I went from library to library to understand migraine headaches. He had a thyroid condition that I did not know about. I was really sad. Hi, Susie. Let me know where you're coming from. And so what happens was I did a lot of research, and then I took what I learned and started asking doctors about how I could help him. And I was really surprised how many doctors did not know anything about supplements, nutrition, and how it was causing his headaches. We found out that he had food intolerance. So what I did, and this was really over the course of 10 years, trying to understand and help him, help him with his health. And what I did was I took this knowledge that I learned from my son, and I'm thinking to myself, there must be a bunch of people out there who's in the same situation. Hi, Michael. In the same situation where they need this help to go within yourself, to heal. So this, I made it my mission to help people like you who don't believe they have choices. And I'm really passionate about this because I truly believe we all have an inner healer that can come out at any time. But when it doesn't come out is when you go into your fears. So this new norm is going to really test you. So let me give you some tips on what to do when you start to have those the negative hamster is running around in your head like a little crazy animal, and you need to tame it. First of all, what I'm going to say what works for me. You can let me know what works for you. I usually do distractions. So what I do is create courses from my online Healing Place Energy School. I really love to create classes, and I've gotten really good at it because the way I teach is no different than the way I talk right now. I'm very methodical, kind of geeky, really geeky, but spiritual at the same time, as I am channeling. Hi, Jerry. As I'm channeling my spirit guides to help me with this talk, I could feel what all of you are needing right now. And so I'm doing a what I call New Age Crusade, where I'm adding all of these things that I feel like you want to know. And again, feel free to jump in with questions because I'm going to do that before I do the hand reflexology tip when you start that butterflies in your stomach. And I'm just amazed how many people have awakened to their own energy. So I find distractions, things that make me happy. And another thing Delby Google. Hello, honey. Let me know where you're from. Um, Once again, see, that's one thing about answering questions and looking at this, it breaks my train of thought. So the first thing I do is do a distraction and do something that makes me happy, because once you start to get into a negative cycle, I'll tell you, man, oh man, it will suck you down into a tunnel of darkness. Okay, here's a great story. I love telling this story. The I've been the doors of the Healing Place has been open for 14 years. This coming September. I'm just so thrilled. At the time, I opened up the business um, with nothing more than a shirt on my back. And how my teacher in reflexology school was really clever. What she did was, I had to find my own people to do my clinical work. So between the 80 practice sessions, 100 clinical sessions, and I had to write a thesis. So my teacher, reflexology teacher, said, "You need to go find your own people to do clinical work. I'm not providing you people." So I had to find 10 people who were willing to come see me once a week for 10 weeks. And I found nobody needed reflexology once a week for 10 weeks. So out of the 10 people, 5 had various form of arthritis. And within the 4th session, the pain broke. So there's the rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, general arthritis. I'm like, man, who would think by pressing on your hands, pressing on your feet, it triggers healing responses in the brain and then sends messages. And so one of the things that I really enjoy is not to believe. The first 2 years of the business, I'm going to say this, excuse my language, I do swear. I might be an old lady, but I swear. I was pooping in my pants every single day for the first 2 years of my business. And every time I had a fear, I was vibrating this fear outside like this, really vibrating, to the point the people that were starting to come to me all of a sudden, "Helen, I can't make it. I can't come in. Can I move my appointment?" And I finally realized that was me. I was radiating negative energy, really dark energy, because I didn't believe I could do this. And one of the things I finally learned after the 6th year, I finally was starting to tame my darkness. And in the 5th and 6th year, what was happening is every time I started to go down in that dark rabbit hole, I could tell you how many people are going to cancel that week. And usually it's 6. Why 6? I have no idea. And what's worse, I could feel the darkness starting to come in. I could feel it growing like a disease in my body. And it would hit me right in the gut. And all of a sudden I'm like screaming. And my poor husband had to listen to me as I'm going on about how afraid I am. And he would literally scrape me off the wall. Just imagine me being scraped off the wall, and calm me down. And the last time I had a major episode of meltdown, I think this was about 5 years ago. And I told one client, I'm having a meltdown and I'm going to get cancellations that week. And she says, "How do you know that? How could you possibly know you're going to get 6 cancellations?" So as the week progressed, I kept clicking to her. Okay, cancellation number 3, cancellation number 4, 5. And then what makes it really funny, cancellation number 6 was her husband. He was the last person to cancel in that cycle. And I laughed. I thought it was the funniest thing, because I knew I did this. I did this. So think about when you start to get into a fearful mode. Ask yourself, physically, just stop. Stop. Focus on your breathing, where you're going to breathe in positive energy and you're going to exhale negative. You want to do it with me now? Okay, you ready? Okay. All right, Michael, everybody. Jerry, let's everybody put your feet on the floor. Put your palms, if you're sitting up, which I think you are, unless you're lying in bed, you want to always have your palms up. Don't impede, do this, because what happens is the energy doesn't flow. And you always want to have your palms up so the energy will flow through you. Because basically what you're doing, you're like a tunnel. You want the energy to flow in and out and literally come out of your aura and move it out of you. So let's do 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, everyone? Okay, breathe in. Okay, breathe in. Yeah. Breathe in and exhale as much as you can out of your mouth. Again. One last time. Just be in your body for a second and just notice how your body feels. Let me know how that felt for you. Did you feel a difference? Did you feel a little lighter? Can you feel your body vibrating? It'd be like literally like this. And what you have just done was move the energy through your body. Because wherever it was stuck, you just released it. I always tell clients, if you could do this at least once an hour, consciously, because most of us don't, good Susie, most of us don't breathe fully. We do shallow breathing. And I'm just as guilty as anyone else. So I'm making a habit to do full breaths. Good. Eva's feeling lighter. Do this often. Make it a habit. Here's a good example. I am, my energetic profile, I am a rule keeper. Rule keepers are unfortunately very tight ass. We like to do things very systematically, like these live chats, very systematically. And before I had children, I used to be a professional radio producer. Being a radio producer, I was in charge of the remote control, everything in the backboard. I was the support person. So I'm the one that gets the guests. I bring up all the traffic reports, the weather reports, the sports reports. So I had to coordinate people and the talent, make sure back then it was they were all hims, he's, make sure the person in the front have the support, but I didn't have any support. I had to do everything. And back then, because we did not have computers, we lived on a printout, similar to a printout, like this, except the printout was this thick that covers 24 hours. And every single minute was broken down into 15-second increments. So heaven forbid, if I missed something in that 15-second increment, I'd be pooping in my pants because I'd be thinking, where am I going to put this commercial, put that report? Everything was timed to exactly to the second. And I remember when I used to miss something, I would end up hyperventilating, literally hyperventilating to the point I was going to pass out. And back then I did not know anything about energy work, but I know for a fact, if I did not breathe properly, then I'm gonna end up falling over in a chair. So think of it this way. Breathing is free. You don't have to pay for it. All you have to do, if you have a fish breather, dying fish breather, set your clock, okay? Is that good? Set your clock and do at least 10 full breaths an hour. Not only are you helping yourself energetically, physically, you're feeding all your cells so they can properly get the nourishment from your body, because breathing has a lot to do with that. And I'll talk about that in another course. And think about how you connect to yourself spiritually, because if you're stuck in your head, you don't know what's going on in here. All right. So let me answer any questions right now, because I have 30 minutes that I time myself. I want to, okay, Eva asked me 3 years ago, I took the hard way, giving up an old job as a secretary and went to massage school and opened my little studio. Fear, but now I am very happy. Well, you know what, Eva? Yes, it is a very fearful time. I'm very blessed that I have established a service that is of value to people. You have to believe that you are of value to not only the people that come to you, but most importantly, be a value of yourself. When you start to question your self-worth, what are you doing? You're radiating negative energy, which really sucks. You're radiating because your energy is waiting to take direction from you. In fact, I talk a lot about that in my book, uh, Know Your Chakras. Uh, know your chakras. This is really important. You learn about energy flow because once you start to understand energy flow, you will no longer be a slave. Will you be perfect in terms of the practice? No. I still get into a tizzy. I still get into the tizzy, but the only thing that's different between me and someone else, I could get out of it faster. In the early days of the healing place, once I got stuck in the ditch, oh man, that ditch was really deep. I would be crawling my way out, and my ego mind would say, you don't deserve it. Well, who are you to do this? Now, 14 years later, I'm going, why wouldn't somebody come to me? Is that an arrogant attitude? No, it's a attitude of confidence. You too can be confident in everything that you do. So breathing, as Michael's asking me about meditation, one of the things that I have on my YouTube channel is a bunch of meditation to help you get back into your body. And primarily, what does meditation do? It shuts your damn mind. It shuts your mind from chattering. And what you do during the practice of meditation is coming back to quiet. When I first learned how to do meditation 20 years ago, it was one of the hardest things I had to do because one thing about rule keepers, we always have to stay one step ahead of everybody and everything. So we have total control. And then having a job as a radio producer, that reinforced the need of being in control. And now, here we go, 35 years later, I have an acceptance of myself, an acceptance of my clients who come, and okay, here we go, and let go of attachment. What does that mean? Do not be disappointed if you don't get the outcome you're looking for. Can you bounce to the right? Can you bounce to the left? But always come back into the middle. Instead of saying, I failed, ask yourself, what did you learn? All right? Does that sound good, everybody? So maybe what I'll do in one of these live chats, we're going to do more meditation. I have a buddy who helps, she's really great at doing meditation work. Robin Bornstein, she's someone that I've trained in Reiki, but I'm hoping she would come, but she won't come live to do until the pandemic is somewhat in control. So let me end off with a reflexology tip. Of course, I've moved my hands. I'm sorry, my little map. All right. If you want this reflexology map, I'm going to put in the box where to email me, which is wellness@healing.place.energy school. I'll put it in the box once the broadcast is done. You're going to focus most of the time. Our energy gets stuck right about here. This is where the butterfly lives. In some cases, the hamsters live up here, the butterflies live down here, and this energy gets stuck. And then underneath the butterflies, okay, underneath the butterflies, right in this corner is your stomach. So I'm going to show you just exercise from doing reflexology from underneath the balls of your hands. I would say right to your thumb level. This is going to get rid of the butterflies. It's going to keep your stomach in calmness so you don't feel like you run to the bathroom in case you're one of those people who get nervous and the first thing you've got to do is run to the bathroom, or just as bad, you get constipated because you're holding on to all of your emotions. That's something that we could talk about in Chakra 101, Know Your Energy. So this is something, I'm going to use lotion, or you could do dry hand method. Oh, sometimes I'm too organized. I try to keep my desk really clean. So you could take some lotion like this. And just, you got to do this method on both hands, because your hand reflexology, this is your head, this is your spine, this is your head all the way up here, and internally all your major organs in the palm of your hands. Your pelvic and your lower area is your lower GI tract. All right. So you're going to walk like this, and I'm going to show you like this. I'm going to turn like this. So this way is better for me, and you can see it. Everyone see this? Michael, do you see this? Jerry? So you're going to walk across like this. Follow your second finger right there at the bottom where you feel indentation. This is where the butterflies live. All right. And you're going to just rotate here. So mine's a little tender only because right now I'm doing this live chat. And then you're going to repeat on the other hand. Second. Oh my gosh, my puppy's trying to get in. Excuse me for a minute. I don't normally do this, but you know, the puppy's scratching at the door. Come on, Milo. I figured I'll introduce Milo. He's the one scratching at the door. Say hi, Milo. Now you're going to repeat here. For the stomach area, just imagine just a square right about here. This is your stomach here. Can you see that? Here, here's a better pen. And you're going to do it on the other hand. I'm going to only show this demonstration one, and then afterwards, we're going to tame the gerbils in your head. So I'm going to turn, and I'm going to walk across. And you're going to repeat. Repeat like this. And any place that feels really tender, I want you to stay there for a second, because this is going to release the energy in your stomach, because information is going through your peripheral nerves up into your spinal cord, up to your brain, and your brain going, whoa, whoa, what's going on down there? And the more you practice this, that'd be great. I'm going to develop a entire course on digestive reflexology. I just can't get to everything, even though I tried. And then you're going to repeat the same thing on the other hand, because you want to do this square here, and you're going to walk across. How often to do this? If you need to do it a couple of times a day, if you get nervous, work on that area. And afterwards, go drink water to flush out toxins. In the hand reflexology, there's probably a 35-step protocol. Foot reflexology is a 55. Ear reflexology, because it's such a small area, there's probably 20 steps to do in the ear. So I do ears, hands, and feet. So let's tame the what do you call it? The hamsters in the brain. Since your brain is in your fingertips, you could take, if you're sitting there watching TV or doing anything, start massaging the tips. And this will help your brain to start to relax. You do every single finger and every single thumb. Well, you only have 2 thumbs, but got a lot of fingers. And by doing this, this is going to help you to relax those areas. And if you are having problems sleeping, the sleep reflex point is in your glands, which is your pineal, pituitary, hypothalamus is right here. So you will do this on both of your thumbs, and you could do this on your big toe. See your thumbs? And so basically what you're doing is take your finger like this. Everyone could see this. Once you feel that dimple, and you're going to turn. So you're going to turn, and this is going to stimulate sleep and restfulness. And it will also help to release hormones when you start to get overly charged and nervous. So you want to do the finger again, right there at the solar plexus, work the stomach, like this, tame the gerbils in your head like this, and do it as often as you need it. So is that good, everybody? Give me a thumbs up. And okay, and then I'm going to answer one more question. Is this okay for pregnant women? Yes, it is. I didn't teach you any place that will touch the reproductive areas because unless you know what you're doing, I don't suggest that. I'm very careful. And so anyone that I teach reflexology, especially on my online class, I always make reference, don't touch this area because it can cause the baby to come earlier. For those women that want the babies to come earlier because they're overdue, it's a very helpful spot, but that's another day. All right. What else? Do you have any? Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So I think those are all the questions I have. If you would, hi, Lori. Oh, I miss you a lot. Lori is one of my clients. She's a kick-ass person who's been coming to me, and I'm very proud of her. Energetically, she has grown tremendously. When she first came to me a year ago, she didn't believe she had energetic options. She's flourishing, and now she's being challenged because she's looking at her options about employment. Oh, yes, this is going to really challenge us. So that's it for today. Please join me this upcoming Monday. What is that? The 24th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ask the reflexologist. You could ask your reflexology question, energy medicine question. If you want to do meditation, Michael, remind me if you want me to do a little meditation at the end, I'll try to squeeze that in. And just let me know what you would like. I tried to include a tip, but last week I had so many questions to answer. By 30 minutes, I was wiped. So, Milo. So this is, Milo's feeling insecure. So this is Helen Chin-Lu from the Healing Place Energy School. I thank you so much for joining me. I really enjoyed talking with you today. And I look forward to seeing you this Monday night. Yes, I know it's the holiday, but I think most of us are going to be at home like I am. Bye-bye. Be well. Take care of yourself. Be safe. And we will get through this together. And remember, when you start to feel fearful, stop yourself from spiraling down into your darkness, because that is something your programming has done to you. Bye-bye.